Thank you so much, guys, for joining. So we've now come to our last tutorial, which is our assignment discussion session. So again, this is a level 3 qualification in IT, and the unit is Introduction to Computer Programming. So in our last 5 tutorials, we've covered all the concepts that we need to know about computer programming, about the foundation and how to solve problems. So we've now come to our assignment discussion where we need to go through our assignment and our tasks. So in this session, we'll now look into all the useful tips that you now need when it comes to writing your assignment. So it is very important for you as a learner who's wanting to pass this assignment that you follow the command verbs. You mainly have to have the ability to understand what are the requirements of your assignment. So if a task requires you to explain, define, or describe, you need to have the ability to implement this within the range of words that you need to use, which could go from 70 to 100 words. When it comes to assess, examine, clarify, and analyze, you have to do this in a bit more detail, which will now take a range between 100 to 125 words. While when it comes to comparing, contrast, critically and evaluate, you now have to add more work into it. So this can now range between 150 words to 200 words. So every assignment has to be written with Harvard referencing style. So how does Harvard referencing style works? You always have to add your citation, which goes in text, and also have to have your bibliography, which need to have all the referencing attached in the bibliography or in the appendix. So it is very important. Why do we need our reference style? We need this to avoid similarities and plagiarism. So as you all know, every institution has a plagiarism and similarity checker. So what this tool does is compares your work with all the works available on the internet, and it is able to detect any sort of similarities. And depending on the institution, there's a range there's a threshold which is acceptable for the similarities. Normally, this shouldn't exceed the 20%, and it really depends on institution and how they assess student work. So we're now looking into understanding the document structure and formatting. So you always have to have a title, which include your name, your tutor name, the unit name, unit code, and maybe a logo if that can be applicable. Then you need to have a table of content, which includes all the tasks that you covered. So that's going to be is going to give us an introduction to your main body. Then again, once you have table of content, we need to have the body where all your work is going to sit in. And then also important to have a conclusion and a referencing list of bibliography. So let's now dive into our presentation, into our assignment discussion. So you've been given a scenario where you work as a computer programmer for a software development company. So your company has been commissioned to write a bespoke program, a bespoke program for a home furniture retail store. So the program must be able to allow the store to manage all aspects of the stock. This includes entering new stock, allocating existing stock, and the ability to run reports based on this element. So you must consider the range of programming languages available and decide on the most appropriate to use this project. Once you have decided, you will need to develop and test the program to ensure it meets the requirement of your store. Before starting to develop the program, you will need to produce an information document for the development company to use when training new apprentices. So this guide will focus on the use of computer languages, the structure of languages, and the characteristics. So task number 1, produce an information document. So you must consider a range of programming languages available and decide on the most appropriate to use for this project. So you must produce an information document in which you will detail the key areas of the computer programming which need to be considered before the development of the program will begin. You have to have the ability to describe how computer programming languages are used to meet the needs, explain how computer programming languages are used in different industries, explain the characteristics of different programming languages and the common similarities between them. Okay. So I just get into so again, so task number 1. So as we said, your documentation should describe how computer programming languages are used to meet business needs. Explain how computer programming languages are used in different industries. Explain the characteristics of different programming languages and the common similarities between them. Explain the requirements that are needed to develop the computer programming code. Explain the features of a programming environment which could be used to develop this program. Explain the range of functions and methods used in the computer programming. Identify the most appropriate language to use for this program. So when it comes to an extension activity, to gain a merit grade, you must also include in your information document an analysis of sources of assistance to use when developing the computer program code, an explanation of the advantages and disadvantages of programming languages. To gain a distinction grade, you must also include in your information document an evaluation of the importance of programming languages in the manufacturing industry. That might be used to manufacture the product for the retail store, an assessment of programming code, and the problem the code is solving. Task number 2, where you now have to write your program. So you must now write a computer program which will be able to allow the store to manage all aspects of the stock. This include entering new stock, allocating existing stock, and the ability to run reports based on this element. So you must identify a problem to solve the store using a computer program, develop a computer program using an appropriate programming languages with appropriate object-oriented programming languages, which that can be used by the retail store to solve problem. Ensure all code within the program is explained using comments. When it comes to an extension activity, to gain a merit grade, you must also include in your computer program a range of programming functions. To gain a distinction grade, you must also include in your computer program a range of functions which provide additional functionality in the computer program. Task number 3, we now have to have the ability to test this program. As the computer program is now developed, you must fully test the program before it can be provided to the retail store for review. So you must complete the following activities. Create a test plan detailing the test to be completed. Carry out testing on the computer program using a test plan. Review and evaluate the program based on the end results. Task number 4, we now have to record the demonstration of the program. Now that the program has been developed, you have been asked to record a narrated video demonstration talking through the computer program. So in your discussion, you must explain the specifics of the code development, including any number, characters, array, variables, keywords, operators, loop, data type commands. Explain input and output operators. Explain the characteristics of object-oriented programming. Explain how encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism have been used in object-oriented programming, and also describe the advantages of using object-oriented programming to develop this program for the store. So these are the 4 tasks which are required in order for you to pass this unit. So I hope everything was clear about what you need to produce as a work. If you do have any question or any example, please feel free to email me or drop a text message on the WhatsApp group chat. So this was everything for today's session. And if there's no any other question, thank you very much for joining and have a good rest of your day.